In this episode, we're talking about scuba diving and how long you need to wait until you fly, how long till you can jump back on that airplane. This is one of those things that you're going to see on your written exam, and when you have the oral exam with your DPE, he's probably going to bring it up as well. Important to note, you don't have to be the person who's doing the scuba dive, but if you're the pilot and you're flying with passengers who have been on a scuba trip, this is where it's applicable to you. Stick around to the end of this one, I'll give you my take on it, but first, let's look at the AIM under 8-1-2 for decompression sickness after scuba diving. A pilot or passenger who intends to fly after scuba diving should allow the body sufficient time to rid itself of excess nitrogen absorbed during diving. If not, altitude decompression sickness due to evolved nitrogen gas can occur during exposure to reduced barometric pressure, as in low cabin pressure. That's associated with the increased altitude and may lead to a serious in-flight emergency. It goes on to say that the pilot should wait at least 12 hours prior to flying to altitudes up to 8,000 feet MSL if a dive has not required a controlled ascent, and at least 24 hours after diving in which controlled ascent is required. Any flight above 8,000 feet MSL should be delayed until at least 24 hours has passed. The AIM says these recommendations are actual flight altitudes above mean sea level, not pressurized cabin altitudes, a critical point because of the concern for any potential loss of aircraft pressurization. So there's a couple things to unpack here. Let's look at this next chart that I made so we can kind of get a visual of what they're trying to say. This is what you have to consider when you return home from your scuba trip. If you're going to be flying home on a commercial airliner, you're going to be above 8,000 feet MSL, which is mean sea level. If you're in shallow water, for example, less than 33 feet, these dives don't require a controlled ascent, called a non-decompression stop dive. But you still have to wait 24 hours because you'll be flying home above 8,000 feet. If you're down here in deeper water, this is considered a controlled ascent, where decompression is required. You have to wait at each atmosphere for a short time before you can get to the surface. And again, wait 24 hours before boarding that plane that'll be flying above 8,000 feet. If this was me personally and I was doing the diving, I would give myself more than 24 hours just to be safe. I've never had it, but apparently decompression sickness can be extremely painful and it can even lead to death. There's a great article from AOPA about this topic. I'll leave a link in the description below.